so I was on a road trip with my family. I mean, I have a son, a loving wife, and a pet cat, but she's at home. And so we're like 2 miles from the beach, and the needle is on the E. I mean, have you ever gotten to that point you're on the E and you're just like, I'm still going. This is incredible. You feel like Superman. You can defy gravity. You can drive the road without fuel. And then you come to a crashing halt. So we realized we couldn't live up this great fortune for long. So we eventually see a small shack, and we think it has to have someone in it. But before we can even investigate that, we see a man on the road convulsing, and we naturally think seizures. He was wearing overalls, and what should have tipped us off, but we didn't think about it. We found he was doing his sister in the middle of the road, spraying God knows what everywhere. I mean, it was dripping from the grill of my truck. So we're like, sir, can we talk to you inside the shack with your, with your trousers on? Yeah, fine, boy. And that's the hick talking. So we get in the shack, and he's cussing me out, and I'm kind of mad, but I'm holding back my anger, because he's the only way we're getting to the beach without pushing the car. So I'm like, sir, I just want some fuel, and he's like, okay, you better bring it back. And I'm like, how am I supposed to bring you back fuel? I can pay you as much as you like. And he's just like, you'd better bring me that boy back. And I swear, no more smart talking. I'm like, sir, there's nothing I can do. I can't bring it back. And so finally, he snaps, and he's just like, swear to God, boy, I will shove my foot so far up your ass, you're gonna be chewing on my toes. And God knows what is on his toes, like warts, and probably like a grandma humping his pinky toe. Okay, for God's sakes. His family is just, oh God, it is the perfect example of country folk. It's like Jed Clampett with Viagra. It's not. It's just horrible. And so I give him double what I should be paying for the gas. Double. I mean, it's 1 gallon of gas to get 2 miles. To get 2 miles, but we pay him, and so we get to the beach, and you can research a lot about a beach. I mean, I like to know my beach. I know when the sand was freaking formed on the damn beach. Every grain has a serial number. I found every one of them. I even found what kind of fish are being taped to the walls of my hotel. But then I get there, and I'm just like, something seems strange about this beach. And so we park, we find the service desk, and we finally realize what's wrong. Do you know they didn't include the fact that nudist beach, they don't include that fact on the internet? So I'm with my son and wife. We get to the front desk, we don't see anyone. A blonde woman flies up, things are flying in every which direction. It is horrible. My son is entranced. I mean, he eventually just goes, he's following him like a bug, okay? He's just following those things flying around. And I'm just like, oh dear God, trying to cover both their eyes, which is pretty hard. And so then, like, we decided we have to get out of here. We instantly leave from the beach, ruining the vacation, but then we find a nice little restaurant along the same area as the beach. Now, do you know everything connected to a nudist beach is also nudist? We go to a steak, it wasn't a steakhouse, it was more like a dessert parlor. We go inside, and there's all these cakes and wonderful, delicious treats. We get there, and the waiter comes up. It's another woman, not as. I'm just gonna skip that. I didn't mean that, honey. Believe me. And so we get there, and we see her, and she is again nothing here, flailing. Like, pancake syrup is flying off him from serving delicious treats. And my son, we're instantly like, we have to leave. My son is like, Dad, we can split an order. It'll be perfect. And now, I'm never going back within 2 miles. So, we realize we need more gas, but there's no gas station. And if there is one, we don't want to know where those pumps have been at this nudist beach. We don't want to know what touched those pumps before they touched the car. So we decide we're going to go back to the hick house. Horrible mistake. We get there, And before we can again investigate the shack, he is doing something on the road. It doesn't even look like sex. It looks like he's just kind of like grabbed a deer's head and started licking it, and randomly ended up being sex. It did not make any sense to us, but we guessed it was like a ritual. So finally, we get him off the road, and he has plenty of fuel. I mean, he has at least enough to fill up my whole car. And he's like, "You bring it back." And I'm like, "Hell no, I have reached the limit." I'm just started rattling on this guy, and he's just like, "Granny, get my pitchfork." So we grabbed as much fuel as we could. We ran to the car, poured it in, and by that time, Grandma had stuck a fork in the middle of my grill. And so we drive away with a fork in the middle of the grill of my truck. And finally, it was the worst vacation I've ever been on. I mean, a nudist beach. My son wants to split an order of boobies. A hick that told me I would be chewing on his toes where his grandma's probably humped his pinky toe. And I finally figured out how to ritualize a deer without using your cock. Wonderful vacation. But anyway, so it was pretty much the worst vacation ever. Now I'm going to talk about pets. My cat, to be persistent about it. There's certain animals in this world who are, what's the term, horny. They say it's an actual medical condition. I think my cat just wants to do everything in sight. Like, I'll be having a good time with my wife in the afternoon, candles lit, and we are just getting into it. All of a sudden, I feel something else. I have to throw my dog across the room. Oh my god, my dog was trying to join in. Have you ever had a dog try to join in? Like, I take off the bra, I throw it, the dog chases after it, picks it up, brings it back. Like saying no. And then whenever I did a good move and my wife was pleased, the dog growled. Like, good job, good job. It was horrible. A dog picked up the bra, brought it back, growled whenever I actually got good. And then it was over, and I swear to God this is true. My wife said, I think the dog was better. And that kind of ruined my love life. Now my wife does the dog every afternoon instead of me. But enough about my love life. So, anyway,